What's going on, family? Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. Let's take a look at two outstanding fighters. Tommy Loughran and Philly Phanthom. He's to your right. Johnny Risko, Cleveland Baker Boy, Rubber Man, is to your left. Now, the Philly Phantom, Thomas Patrick Loughran, was born November 29, 1902, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He died July 7, 1982 in Philadelphia. I had the pleasure of meeting Tommy Loughran. He first entered the ring December 9, 1919, same year Jack Dempsey would crack the jaw and lift the title from Jess Willard. He would last enter the ring January 18, 1937, against Sonny Boy West. Had a fighting career record of 126 total bouts, 90 wins, 25 losses, 14 knockouts. He was stopped 3 times and had 10 draws. Stood 5 foot 11 and a half inches, 73-inch reach, and he was a light heavyweight champion. He became light heavyweight champion October 7th, 1927, when he would lift the crown for Mike McTeague. Now, the thing with Tommy Loughran, he would relinquish his belt so that he can move up in the heavyweight division. Wanted to be part of a tournament that Gene Tunney would create when he retired his belt in his last title defense of New Zealand's Tom Heaney. It was the America's heavyweight championship belt. Tommy Loughran would be in the ring with such fighters as Mike McTeague and Brian Downey, Jimmy Darcy and Ernie Scaff. Ernie Scaff, unfortunately, would pass away in the ring, with Max Baer would beat him up pretty badly. Primo Carnero would tap him in an existing cyst. Ernie Scaff would die in a hospital. King Levinsky and Max Baer, Tuffy Griffith, Harry Greb. Loughran would be in the ring with Harry Greb 4 times. Powell Reed, Ted Moore, Young Stribling. Young Stribling would be the title defense of Max Smelling. Knock him out in the last round. Johnny Risko 3 times. Steve Hamas 3 times. Ray and Pelletier and Chuck Wiggins. He'd be in the ring with Big Boy Patterson, Artur Godoy, Al Latour, Tommy Farr, and Al McCoy. All Joe Louis opponents. Big Boy Peterson, I want to be corrected, is his name. Mickey Walker, Pierre Charles from Canada, Jack Sharkey, the Boston Gob. Also found himself in the ring with Jimmy Slattery, Young Stribling, Armand Emanuel, Al Latour, Jeff Smith. Jeff Smith was some middleweight from New York, and he would move to Bayonne, New Jersey. Tuesday, February 15th, 1927. Johnny Risko, 28, 16, and 5. Tommy Loughran would face him. That would be some contest. Fordham, Pennsylvania, South Main Street at the Armory, and the referee was Jimmy Heenan. 10 rounds unanimous decision in behalf of Tommy Loughran. On that undercard, you would have Jimmy Broderick, 16-0, versus Jack Nielsen, 0-8. Broderick was 167 pounds. Tommy Loughran was some fighter. Fought with his hands down, but he stood erect. His hands were super fast. Wish you could have seen Tommy Loughran. Not only was he outstanding in the ring, very good humanitarian. Let's take a look at Johnny Risko, the Cleveland Baker Boy. Right here on the Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. Johnny Risko was a Cleveland baker boy. He was born December 18, 1902, in Austria. He died January 13, 1953. He was 50 years of age at the time of his death. He would reside in Cleveland, Ohio. Stood 5'11", 74-inch reach, and he was a heavyweight. Began boxing June 19, 1922. And his last trip to the ring would be February 19, 1940. Last opponent was Tony Musto. He was in the ring with Chuck Wiggins twice. Max Baer, May 5, 1931. Referee was Johnny Kilbane. He would face fighters such as Jack Sharkey and Gene Tunney, November 18, 1925. Paul Berlenbach, Jack Delaney, Junk Stribble, all champions. Mike Mateague, Leo Gates twice. Homer Smith, Jimmy Slattery, Tommy Loughran, Eddie Hoffman, Tom Heaney of New Zealand, Phil Scott, Paulino Escudons. He would face Jack Sharkey March 12, 1928, New York's Madison Square Garden. He would defeat him. Referee was Billy Kid McPartland, 9-4. Phil Scott, December 7, 1927. Public Hall in Cleveland, Ohio. Bearcat Wright, Tuck Jackson, Jim Maloney. He'd be in the ring with Max Smelling. Smelling had a fighting career record of 40-4. February 1st, 1929, New York's Madison Square Garden. Otto Van Port and George Cook. Tuffy Griffith, Jim Maloney. Victorio Campolo. He was a tall fella. Fought him twice. Ernie Scaff. Tom Heaney and Stanley Peruta. He'd be in the ring with King Levinsky, Boston Arena, March 21st, 1931. Tony Galento, Bob Sykes, Red Berman, and John Henry Lewis. He'd also face Mickey Walker, Big Boy Peterson, Bob Olin, Charlie Ratliff, Jimmy Delaney, Nady Brown. Just a few opponents that Johnny Risko would face. He was a boxer. But that match with Tommy Loughran was a classic. Talking about two boxers in the ring at the same time. Took quite some time to figure each other out. Tommy Loughran had an IQ of the best of them. Just wanted to go through that fight between these two men, as well as their careers. I'm Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. All great fights and all great fighters will never be forgotten on my channel. Thanks for visiting Johnny Risko and Tommy Loughran with me right here on the Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series.